My name is Fallon, and I am, first and foremost, a football fan. A Ravens fan, to be exact. In my household, if you reject football, it rejects you. I bleed purple. What I really love is the sport itself. The feeling of standing amongst a crowd, all screaming for the same thing, lost in a sea of nameless faces, all dressed in the same color, united for a common purpose. It's the closest thing to world peace I've ever seen. And it doesn't hurt that the sport is extremely exciting. When it comes to sports, the more violence and hitting, the better. That's what I've always said. It was only a matter of time, then, that I would find a game. Called King of the Hill. The game, essentially a gambling tournament more than anything else, is comprised of my dad's law firm, some of its clients and relations, and me. AKA, it's me against 70 men with egos large enough to sink an ocean liner. And if you know me, I don't take competition lightly. The game goes like this. Each week you pick one team to win. One team and only one team. It can be from whichever game you choose at whatever time of day. But here's the catch, you can only pick that one team once. Once you've chosen the Packers, you cannot choose them again, so you better use that Super Bowl champ wisely. Lose once, you're safe. Lose twice, you're out. Upon the start of the season, I found myself moving into a dorm, thrown from my world of Edgar Allan Poe and my Sunday sea of purple into an unknown city. A vast expanse of gold parading the streets instead of the royal violet I'd come to know and love, and away from my family, my peers, and my expert advisors on who to pick each weekend for the game, I was completely and utterly lost. Luckily, I had some time. The first week I went with New England. Surprise! They won. But week 2 was fast approaching. Who should I pick? Should I waste Green Bay now? Should I rely on my Ravens to bring home the gold? Would the Saints recover from their first week loss? But meanwhile, I made a good friend. The only other girl on my floor who followed football just as religiously as me, who came from a family just as psychotic on Sundays as my own. I bounced my ideas off her, went to her for advice and opinions, and she was always sincere in her answers, if not diplomatic. But diplomacy doesn't help me. I'm a Libra. I'm already indecisive enough. These damn scales are always looking for balance. I would pretty much ask her to make the decision for me, and each time, she wouldn't. It drove me nuts. It drove me to the point of rising past my own indecision to combat her own. And so I made a choice. But that choice was crazy. It was insane. It was a gamble, a low blow to Lady Luck that the me from back home never would have chosen. I chose the Buffalo Bills to win over the Oakland Raiders. I know what you're thinking, but my thinking was as follows. Oakland is traveling across the country to face the Bills after having just played on a Monday night, meaning they had less recovery time than most of the weekends, correct? Buffalo was on the rise, having just won their first game, and me? I needed a plan. I needed to save the monster teams for crunch time when the numbers of players were dwindling and I was down a loss while there were still others who remained undefeated. And thus, the choice was made, the risk taken. I nearly died 3 times that Sunday as Buffalo eked out a win over the Raiders, scoring a final touchdown with 4 seconds left in the entire game to break away from the neck-and-neck race they've been engaging with Oakland for the second half of the game. But I was overjoyed. I was elated. I had won. Currently, I remain undefeated, one of 5 left in the entire game that began with 56 of us, and I am the only one not to have suffered loss. I've done better this year than I could have dreamed the year before, and I can't help but attribute my balls-to-the-wall approach to New Orleans and my Tulane experience. Having been raised in one city my entire life, attending the same school since I was 2 years old until I was 18, and having only known stability and living in the same neighborhood. One would imagine New Orleans is a culture shock to so sheltered a girl, and it has been. I've branched out. I've explored the city, made friends that I haven't known since I was in diapers, eaten things I never would have even considered edible back up north, donned different school colors from the ones I knew for 16 years of my life. I've taken risks, made gambles, and even though I'm in a new city, at a new school with new friends and amongst a different culture, I'm starting to find that maybe these identities aren't so different from my love for football after all. Not that I want to give all the credit to Tulane for helping me play the game with such skill. I mean, let's be honest, you just won't find a girl more attuned to the ins and outs of football than me.